Okay, let's talk about something that pretty much all of us do, but almost nobody talks about. I'm talking about lurking. You know, that silent, invisible life we all live on social media.
So, I'm going to ask you straight up. Are you a social media ghost? Do you ever find yourself just endlessly scrolling, reading posts, watching videos, but never ever hitting like or leaving a comment? Come on, be honest. If you do, you are definitely not alone.
And yeah, there's actually a name for this. It's called lurking behavior. Basically, it's just being an observer without jumping into the game. You're a silent presence, taking it all in, but not adding your voice. So today, we're going to dig into the really surprising psychology of why we do this and what it might say about us. All right, first up, the social media ghost. Let's really get into the mystery of why we have these silent online selves.
I mean, it's a great question, right? We've got all these amazing tools designed for connection, yet so many of us choose to stay completely silent. What's that about? Is it just laziness? Are we scared? Or maybe, is there something a little deeper, something more scientific going on? Well, let's find out.
So let's get into the science of lurking. It turns out there's a really powerful model that researchers use that explains almost perfectly why we choose to just watch from the sidelines. It's called the Stressor Strain Outcome Model, SSO for short. Now, it sounds complicated, but it's actually super simple. Think of it like a chain reaction. A stressor happens, say you see your friends post about their amazing new job, that leads to strain, this little pang of jealousy or inadequacy. And that strain leads to an outcome. Instead of congratulating them, you just quietly close the app. And here is the absolute key. Lurking isn't the real problem, it's the symptom of the problem. Now, that first step, the stressor, isn't just one thing. The research actually splits it into two different camps. You've got intrinsic stressors, that's the stuff coming from inside our own heads. And then you've got extrinsic stressors, the pressures that come from the social media platforms themselves. So let's start with what's going on inside us. Researchers have flagged two huge ones. First up, social comparison. You know the drill. We see the highlight reels of everyone else's lives, the perfect vacations, the happy families, and we can't help but measure our own lives against them. And second, there are real privacy concerns. We're all a bit more worried now about how our data is being used, which makes us think twice before we share anything personal. Then you've got the pressures from the outside, basically how the platforms are designed to overwhelm us. You've got information overload, it's just a fire hose of content 24/7. Then there's functional overload, too many features, new buttons, constant updates. And finally, social overload, that constant nagging pressure to like, comment, and respond to everything. Honestly, it's just plain exhausting. So what happens when you mix all those internal worries with all that external noise? You get the strain. This is the emotional punch. It's that feeling of social media fatigue, total burnout, and just a general anxiety about even opening the app. And that feeling is what pushes us into silence. Okay, Section 3, a framework for integrity. So we get the why now, right? We lurk because we're stressed out. But that's not the end of the story. Let's shift gears from just diagnosing the problem to figuring out, okay, so what now? And for that, we're going to turn to the absolutely incredible work of Dr. Shungu H. Magadza. She has developed this amazing tool that helps us map out our own digital behavior. And it's not about pointing fingers or making us feel bad. It's about charting a course so we can show up online with more integrity. This quote from Dr. Magadza really just sets the whole thing up perfectly. Inclusion begins with awareness. Integrity begins with honesty. It's all about taking a good, honest look in the mirror and asking ourselves how we're really behaving in these digital spaces. So here it is. This is her 6 stages framework. Think of it like a scale for how we act on social media. It goes all the way from a -6, which is actively hostile, all the way up to a +6, the equity leader. And listen, the point here is not to judge ourselves. It's just about awareness. It's about figuring out, okay, where am I on this map right now? All right, Section 4, mapping your digital self. Let's use this new map to answer our big question from the beginning. Where exactly does lurking fit into all this? Boom, right there. Lurking fits perfectly in stage -2, avoidant or silent. And pay close attention to how this is framed. This isn't just about being tired anymore. Dr. Magadza says this is about withholding acknowledgement, maybe because we're afraid of someone else's success. She'd even suggest that sometimes we use our silence as a weird form of control. Wow, that's a totally different way to think about it. And this right here is the big aha moment.
Dr. Magitsa's work completely reframes lurking for us. It stops being this passive thing that just happens to us because we're tired. Instead, it becomes an active, specific stage on our own personal journey. It's a choice, even if we don't realize we're making it.
So if a lot of us are hanging out at stage -2, what are we aiming for? Well, this is it. Stage +6, the equity leader or bridge builder. This is someone who shows up with humility, with authenticity, and actually uses social media to help everyone grow and feel like they belong. And hey, this isn't about becoming some big influencer. It's just about acting with integrity.
Now, to help us think about how to move up that ladder, Dr. Magaza has some really powerful questions. Here's one I want you to really sit with. Would your response to a post change if you were totally anonymous? Would you be kinder? More critical? It's a fascinating way to test how authentic we're really being.
And that leads us to our final, and I think, most crucial takeaway in Section 5, online is real life. Seriously, if you remember just one thing from all of this, please make it this. Here it is, in her own words. How we behave online reflects who we truly are offline. Let that sink in. Our silence online, who we choose to engage with, what we scroll past, none of that happens in a bubble. It's a direct reflection of our real-world character, our fears, and our integrity.
So I'll leave you with this last question, and it's meant to be an empowering one. Look, you don't have to jump from being a lurker at -2 to a bridge builder at +6 overnight. That's not the point. Just ask yourself this. What would it look like to just move one stage higher, to just go from silent to simply being aware? Because that one small step, that's where the whole journey really begins. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.